So we are gonna read the Polar Express book. The Polar Express, written and illustrated by Chris Van Eldsberg. Polar Express. We are gonna read the words first and show you the pictures. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed, did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently, was listening for a sound a friend had told me. I never heard the ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There's no Santa, my friend had inserted, but I knowed he was wrong. Late that night I did not hear sounds. Through a knot of ringing bells from outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and I saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. Okay, next page. It was wrapped in a pond of stream snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. Put on my slippers and robe, I tiptoed downstairs and out the door. All aboard! The conductor cried out. I ran up to him. Well, he said, are you coming? Where? I asked. Why, to the North Pole, of course, was his answer. This is the Polar Express. I took his outreached hand, and he pulled me aboard. Then here's the train, then right there's the boy and the conductor. As you can see, the boy's right there. The conductor is right there. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candy canes with nugget centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick as rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of the towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. So here's the hot chocolate. So here's like the hot chocolate. Yeah, right here. Next page. Soon there was no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forests, where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. So here's the wolves. We climbed the mountain so high, it seemed as if we escaped the moon, but the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys, like a car on a roller coaster. There's the train up here. The mountain turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren desert of ice. The great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean, lying sailing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole. There is the North Pole. The North Pole, it was a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. They are gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who receives the first gift? We all asked. The conductor answered, "We will choose one of you." Okay, here's the picture. Look, shouted one of the children. The elves outside. We saw hundreds of elves as our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole. We slowed to a crawl so crowded where the streets were with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no farther, we stopped and the conductor leaded us outside. We raced through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and faced ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harness. It was a magical sound, like nothing I ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and pointed to me, said, "Let's have this fellow here." He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked, "Now, what would you like for Christmas?" Okay, here's the picture. I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but the the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from a reindeer's harness. The elf toasted it up to Santa. Tossed it up to Santa. He stood holding the bell high above him and called out, "The first gift of Christmas!" There's his reindeers and their Santa. Next page. A clock struck midnight. As the elves rounded their approval, Santa handed the bell to me, and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeers' names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared in the cold, dark polar sky. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus's sleigh. Let's hurry outside and look for it, one of the children said. But the train's given a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. He's feeling disappointed he lost the bell. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I suddenly left the other children. I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. What? I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth and said, "Merry Christmas!" He shouted out. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle, sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our present. When it looked as if everything has been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C. I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound. My sister and I ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I shooken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. So his sister and him could hear the bell, but his parents couldn't. Dreaming of At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me, as it does for all who truly believe. The end. The end.